David Hall. Today I'm going to talk to you all about compound time signatures. Now take a look at this piece of music by Bach. Straight away I'm looking at that time signature and panicking slightly. It's not one that I see every day. It's 12/16. Now the top number 12 means 12. That means you're going to be counting up to 12, essentially. The bottom number, 16, we have to remember our American note names, a 16th. Now a 16th is a semiquaver. So this time signature means 12 semiquavers in each bar. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Notice that they're grouped in threes. That's really important. That's actually what makes it a compound time signature. But for now, just notice that they're grouped in threes. Look at this passage here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've got 4 notes. Each one is 3 semiquavers worth. Do, 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 do. So this idea of things grouped in threes is really important. Now take a look at these time signatures. 6 quavers per bar, 9 quavers per bar, 12 quavers per bar. Straight away, I expect you've noticed the 3 times table going on. We've got 6, 9 and 12 as our top notes. Here's an example of a piece of music written in 6/8. I'm just going to put a ring around the groups of 3. 3 quavers, a dotted crotchet. 3 quavers, a dotted crotchet. When I'm playing that music and counting that music, I'll count it like this. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. Now let's take a look at a piece of music in 9/8. Again, I'm putting a ring around every group of 3. The dotted crotchet is worth 3 quavers. 3 quavers is worth 3 quavers. And I would count this piece as 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Essentially 3 beats per bar. 3 groups of 3, 9/8. The next one, 12/8, 12 quavers per bar. Here's an example. I've made this one a bit fiddlier. I've thrown in a rest. So my first group of 3 quavers is a crotchet and a quaver rest. That's beat 1. Beat 2 is a crotchet and a quaver rest. There's beat 3, there's beat 4. 4 groups of 3 gives me 12, 12, 8. So compound time signatures are all about groups of 3. Here are the American names, just in case you've forgotten. A crotchet is a quarter note. A quaver is an 8th note. A semiquaver is a 16th note. So when you see a time signature that has a multiple of 3 up top, you need to know what the bottom number signifies as well. 6/8, 6 quavers per bar. 6/4, also a compound time signature, 6 crotchets per bar. Take a look at this example in 6/4. You'll see that the crotchets are grouped in threes. Slightly harder to see because the crotchets don't have beams, but the pattern that I've drawn them in and the dotted minim really strongly indicates that we should be grouping this as a compound time signature. 12/8, 12 quavers per bar. 12/16, 12 semiquavers per bar. I'm going to do one more crazy example, a time signature that I'm not sure I've ever seen, but 15, that's the next multiple of 3. 15/16, that would be 15 semiquavers in each bar, and you would have to group them in threes. So here's a piece of music. Now 3 semiquavers, 2 semiquavers is a quaver, so 3 semiquavers is a dotted quaver. So that first note is actually longer than 1 beat. Told you this one was fiddly. I'm going to draw a dotted quaver above it. Another dotted quaver, that's 2 beats. So that first note lasts for 2 beats. This is where it's all a bit crazy. We're not used to a dotted crotchet being worth 2 beats. Anyway, we'll carry on. Dotted quaver, dotted quaver, dotted quaver, dotted quaver, dotted quaver. There's our 5 beats. next bar is the same. The next bar shows the beat groups more clearly. That's beat 1, 2, 3, 4 rounder, 5 rounder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off the piece. So the maths works, but it can get very complicated dealing with these smaller divisions. Now, as a rule, simple time signatures have a 1, 2, 3 or 4 as the top note. So 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. They're simple time signatures. Compound time signatures will have a multiple of 3 but not 3 itself. So commonly 6, 9 and 12. That's indicative of a compound time signature. The other thing you'll have realised by now is that simple time signatures, each beat goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One beat divides into 2 quavers normally. So everything's divided into 2s. In compound, everything's divided into 3s. So if you're ever asked to add a time signature to a piece of music where the time signature is missing, look out first of all to see if the beats are subdivided into 2s or 3s. And if you're ever asked to add bar lines to a piece of music and you've been given the time signature, just look at that time signature, analyse it, and count very carefully using rings all the time. When it comes to performing music at the piano, it's really important to understand these time signatures because not only do they make the music add up, but it really indicates how you should play every note, whether it's a strong beat or a weak beat or a subdivision, where the accents should fall, and that of course brings the music to life.
At the piano, look through the pieces that you are learning and check how you should be counting the beats. Improvise a piece in 6/8 and a piece in 9/8 using your chord knowledge.
So the compound time feel comes very naturally to us. There are plenty of songs that go ya da 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 da, but writing it down is that bit more fiddly than simple time signatures. And it's quite hard to explain it as well. If you didn't quite follow the video today, do get hold of this book, There's More to Playing the Piano by David Hall. Turn to chapter 17 and you might find that the explanation there, coming from a slightly different angle, is clearer. Now, I'm going to play a gorgeous piece to you, Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy. I've heard this piece played, I'm afraid to say, by people who don't quite understand the counting. It's really important to work out the counting in this piece before you start. It's in 9/8. 9/8 is 3 groups of 3. That's the 9. 8 is quavers. So 3 groups of 3 quavers. So you'll be feeling a big 3 in a bar. 1, 2, 3. And within that, you'll be feeling subdivisions of 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Now Debussy makes things a little bit more complicated by throwing in some duplets, which we'll cover in a later chapter. Here we go. So before I start, I'm going to count properly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 two and a three and a one and a two and a three and a one and a two and a three and a one and a two and a three and a one and a two and a three and a one and a two and a three and a one, two and a three and a one, and a two and a three and a one, two and a three. So if you're playing any piece of music, it's so important to do that sometimes. Actually counting out loud when you play, not just in your head, but actually physically out loud, makes you play so much more rhythmically. Now, the other activity I suggested you try at the piano is to improvise a piece in 6/8 and to improvise a piece in 9/8. Now, what you can manage will very much depend on your experience and your knowledge of chords and scales. If you're new to this idea of improvising, just take 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. This is 6/8. 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 and a. There we go. I'm already improvising simply because I moved it. And 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. 1 and a. If you know some chords. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. Improvise something in 6/8. I only used 2 chords then, C and G. Now 9/8 is going to feel more like a waltz because there's 3 big beats per bar. 1 and a 2 and a 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So have some fun, let your fingers wander over different chords. If you've already looked at the chapters on improvising using chords, use those chords, but have a definite time signature in mind because it makes your improvisations that much more convincing and it really helps you to understand these time signatures more.